What is up, everybody, and welcome to a new video. As you prepare for Labor Day, you got that free day off, you don't gotta go to work, you don't gotta go to school. What do you want to do? Obviously play some VR. So today we're going to be talking about a few of my favorite titles as of lately, as well as giving a little explanation on what each game entails. I hope you guys can find at least one new game that you haven't thought about playing yet and can check it out this Labor Day weekend. With that being said, let's get started. Starting off with one you guys could probably guess, but I'm going to give a reason as to why. Lately, I've been reaching out to old friends and trying to catch up on our lives. In doing this, the mention of my YouTube channel always comes up, and with it I have to explain that I've kind of shifted over to VR. And the main thing that they always ask is, can I try it? And the easiest way to show them truly what VR is to chuck them into Beat Saber. So I know it's on every list, but if you still have not played Beat Saber, or if you want to hang out with some friends, definitely throw them into Beat Saber because it's simple, there's no locomotion so they don't get sick, and it's a cool little way to introduce VR to a new person. With that out of the way, we can actually move on to our next game, which is actually a few games. I'm just going to talk about the fact that I've been spending a decent amount of time in social experiences. These are things such as VR chat, Horizon Worlds, hanging out with other people in VR. I've never been a huge fan of social features because they've always kind of seemed boring, like why would I go into VR just to talk to people? But I realized the true expression that you can get in VR that you can't get talking to people over the phone or something. And for those times where my friends are busy or there's no one at the house and I really want some interaction, I can hop into something like Horizon Worlds or VR chat and get a lot out of it just by talking to random people, because talking to random people, you get to hear some fun, interesting stories. And that's honestly the best part, is seeing people who have such different lives than yours and being able to get their feedback on things. Next up on our list is a little bit of an interesting title. This one I mainly picked up because one, it's new, and I actually had a sponsored video I had to do on it, but it's actually Nerf Ultimate Championship. This game has been super fun to play, mainly because games like Pavlov and other type games such as that have been very tedious to play, especially with the skill gap between those top players and those bottom players. With the lobbies getting spread more and more thin, it's sometimes really hard to play because you're just getting dotted from across the map, and it can become really tedious. That's why in Nerf Ultimate Championship, the atmosphere is so much more fun, and there's a bunch of new mechanics for everybody to learn. Along with that, there's not a lot of professional players out there who are hopping in Nerf Ultimate Championship, except for me. I'm in there obviously taking charge and leading the pack, but it's been a fun little experience to play, a little bit different change of pace from the rest of those type of games. With the recent release of Moss Book 2, I finally decided to hop into Moss Book 1. I still have yet to play Moss Book 2, I know I have to get to it, I've just taken a while. But Book 1 was an amazing experience. I've always heard that Moss was a great game, but it was never like my type of game. I'm like, I don't want to play a VR third-person title. It doesn't seem that interesting to me. Actually, I think it's technically second person. Either way, it's not like it would be my type of tea, but the story, along with the graphics and the character design, is just fantastic. The gameplay feels smooth, and the puzzles are actually really nice. None of them seem too complicated, but they're also not too basic to the point where it feels like you're playing a toddler's game. The way the puzzles are actually fit into the scenery is very clean and fits well with the aesthetic of the game. Along with that, all the scenery kind of follows the progression of the story, which makes it a very interesting game to play through, as it doesn't feel discontinued in any places, as it all just kind of runs along. The main character, despite never really talking, is amazing because of all of the expression that it has. I swear to God, they must have taken like a mouse, put a mocap suit on it, and had it walk around and do things, because it just feels so lifelike to interact with it, despite it not being an actual character. If there's any game on this list that you have yet to play and you want to check out, I definitely recommend the Moss series. This next game, I will say something that may be a little bit controversial, but I have to say it. Resident Evil 4 was not a favorite title for me. I didn't grow up playing Resident Evil. I honestly never played a Resident Evil game until Resident Evil 4 VR, and so playing it didn't really re-spark anything in my mind. Unlike a lot of the fellow ambassadors and other creators out there who talk up this game, I found it to be kind of meh. And frankly, the mechanics were alright, but there was a lot of things that took me out of the immersion of the game, and I just really couldn't get into it. However, I did go back and play it a little bit because I wanted to check out the Mercenaries update, and I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the main story because I couldn't reconnect to it, and by the time Resident Evil 4 VR came out, it was kind of outdated, and there's just better titles out there. But hopping back in and playing the Mercenaries update felt great. The mechanics are good enough to where the Mercenaries update feels fun, and the creepy black and white style really adds to the immersion of a survival kind of zombie wave-esque game. I really enjoyed playing, especially with all of the different designs of zombies, and it was just really cool to just get in there and do some zombie wave shooter that wasn't something like Pavlov or After the Fall. Because as fun and well designed as After the Fall is, the mechanics feel kind of clunky in certain cases. It's more arcadey than something like Resident Evil 4 VR. If you have Resident Evil 4 VR and you haven't touched it in a while, go check it out again, play the Mercenaries update. I know it came out about a month and a half ago, but if you haven't played it, go play it now. If you haven't bought Resident Evil 4, I don't really know if it's worth buying the whole game just for the update. However, I did thoroughly enjoy it. So if you have some cash to spare or you have a 30% off discount that Meta sometimes likes to get out, go ahead and cash it. A quick little game I want to talk about is 11 Table Tennis. This one is super nice and basic. It's just table tennis. There's an active online community, so it's pretty easy to find somebody to play with. And if you have 2 headsets, you can just play with someone in your family or one of your friends. There's really not much to it, except for the fact that the physics feel good and the ball comes right back to your hands, so you don't have to go chase it down like you do in real table tennis. It's simple, it's fun, and it's basic. So if you're looking for something like that, I definitely recommend you check it out. Next up, you probably saw it because I've been streaming it recently, but we're going to talk about Red Matter. Red Matter 2 just dropped as of lately, which means I went back and played Red Matter 1, and I've been streaming Red Matter 2. This game is beautiful. It's a simple puzzle game with a little bit of puzzle exploration and a little bit of combat, but in general, it's just kind of a story mode puzzle game that is stunning to look at. The graphics push the Quest 2 to probably its limits, and it looks amazing in every perspective. I'm not a huge fan of the gameplay loop. It's kind of boring at times, but if you can get invested in the story along with all of the beauty, then it's definitely a game you should check out. But then finally, the last game we're going to talk about, the one that always kind of comes up on my channel, I'm always streaming it, I come back to it, the Fortnite of VR, Population 1. You can build, it's a battle royale, and the gun mechanics are arcadey and feel comfortable. I just love it. You can always find lobbies in Population 1. It's never empty, kind of like some of the other games. It's the one game where the guns really have resonated with me in a way that I can actually use them at a semi-competitive level. In games like Pavlov, I feel like I'm just like left in the dirt. So having a game like Population 1 where I actually feel like I can compete feels super nice. I'm always looking to play with people on stream, so if you do hop into one of my streams and tend to have the game, I'll usually be open to playing with you. If you're totally trash, I'll play 1 or 2 games with you and then make up some excuse to leave. But if you're not, then we'll probably play for the entire stream. With that being said though, I'm probably streaming now or streaming sometime soon. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. If this video helped you out at all, a like would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me beyond that, you can click that join button and become a member like the ones you see on screen. For $1 a month, you can become a little lettuce. It has some perks, but the main point of it is so that you can use the badges in the live streams. That's why I made it the cheapest thing possible, because I love the emotes that I made, and so I just wanted people to be able to use them. So that's the point of the little lettuce rule. And then you can become a bear cub or a mama bear, which is where you can really support me by paying a larger sum of money to get some extra perks, as you can read through if you click the join button. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, everybody. Bye.